pew, 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 pew. I'm in a good mood tonight.
Alrighty then. Somebody's all hot with the pew-pews. Okay.
What's up?
What's going on, everybody? We got Mark, April, Mama Z, Two Family, Copper Kettle, Heather, Alderman Farms, y'all.
What's up?
Alderman Farms said they are coming back to YouTube with a vengeance.
No.
Yep, that's what they said. They said they are coming back and they're going to post
No,
like...
they're going to stomp a mud hole. Ooh, right on your foot.
Right on
Sorry.
my foot.
This wouldn't be the first time today.
Right on my foot. Stop talking, Jason. That's what she did earlier today. Naturally NC.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
April, Mama Z. Okay,
I tried. It didn't work.
We're not late. You're early. It's our live stream. We could never be late for our own live stream. Ooh, my hair is just everywhere right now.
I really need to fix your hair.
Yes, you do. That's okay. Not feeling the love, but it's okay. So what's going on?
Not feeling the love.
The naked gardeners are in the house.
Yeah, it is.
So, I know it's been kind of a little bit of a hectic, strange, and crazy week, but we just got to shake it off. Shake it off. And, so.
Sid and I worked out a tapping system. You ain't first, you're last, Jason. Mm-hmm. Well, considering we're the ones that start the live stream, we should be first.
We're kind of first every time. What's up, Pete? Pete's Little Homestead. I'm sorry I missed your live stream on Friday, buddy. I didn't get any notifications or anything. Just like the Broussards. Somebody asked me that they told me that they missed me in Broussards on Thursday, and I'm like, they went live? And of course they were like, well, they go live every Thursday. But it didn't show up. Even when I went to his channel, it didn't show up. Like,
our big thing is, like, if we don't get a notification, sometimes we've got so much stuff going on that it'll be, like, Thursday, and it'll be 10 o'clock, and we'll be like, did you get a notification from Broussard?
No. Goldshaw Farm, what's up, my brother? I was talking about you earlier today.
Yeah, we were.
I was talking about you. It was all
actually good. Even my daughter was saying something about him today. We were riding to go get feed. And she loves, when we go in the truck, she loves to use my phone to go on YouTube to find songs to play. Because the radio doesn't work really well. And she pulled it up and she knew I'd been watching some Goldshaw. And she's like, man, he is so smart. And I said, well, what? Why are you saying that? She said, man, he is really capitalizing on that dog. I was like, who are you and what have you done with my daughter? He's really capitalizing on that dog. So, well, he is a pretty cool dog. Mm-hmm. Although, I was watching, and it's brilliant. We've thought of it, just never done it. But, y'all, he put his GoPro on one of his geese.
Yeah, y'all gotta go check out that video.
So, you should definitely check that out. It was pretty cool.
Yep, what's that?
So, anyway.
Yeah.
Be afraid, be very afraid. Trash talking. No trash talking. We love the Morgan. Yeah. Morgan is awesome.
So, what a crazy week we had. So, as you guys noticed, you didn't get any real content from us this week. And the major reason for that is... I can't wait for that one to die away. The main reason for
Sorry, go ahead. The main reason
for that is we've been playing I almost said major again. We've been playing a hardcore game of hide and seek with our dairy cow. And Daisy went up missing probably Monday evening, Tuesday morning. And we, of course, went looking. Now, any of y'all that's been around for a while, you know that sometimes Daisy will get a wild hare and she'll just flat foot jump the fence and go find her a boyfriend or go do whatever. Well, she has 2 boys to choose from on the property now.
Yeah, so the only other time that she's jumped the fence, once we got the bull, the only other time she jumped the fence was a couple of months before she calved, and she was just hungry.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that there wasn't anything for her to eat, it just wasn't what she wanted to eat.
Yeah. She went over to our neighbor's place a bunch of time because he has a field full of plantain and chickweed and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
And so she would just go over there because she loves the plantain. Mm-hmm. And so we went steadily looking, walking fence lines.
I was at work. Jason called me. Hey, have you missed a phone call? Because I try not to carry my personal phone when I'm working. So that was one thing. He was like, hey, can you check your phone, make sure you haven't missed any calls.
Any phone calls,
Yeah.
anything like that.
Because, normally the cops will call, or the county, it's not really the cops, the county will call, hey, Wallace Knife Works, what's up?
And we went steadily looking, went through all the thickets and everything, and we just couldn't find her. Well, this went on for a couple of days, and then I believe it was like Thursday, we finally found her. Daisy got the bloat, and she died. And the only thing that we could think of is that as we would walk to the very back of the farm and start to make our way up closer, somehow in some of that thicket, she may have been laying down, being uncomfortable, didn't want to be messed with, and as we would walk past and not see her, she would just walk back behind where we already came from. And I think this went on for a couple of, our best of our knowledge, kind of went on for a couple of days. Because basically it's me and two teenage girls out there trying to locate her. And in all honesty, my daughters are great, but they're not the best at looking for something. Because they can walk right. That's how I hide their presence. I leave them out in plain sight. And so we went out looking again Thursday, and we happened to find her down there at the one creek bottom by where we have a swarm trap set up. And she was just as swollen as she could be. I mean, if I was to take the syringe and would have hit it, it would have been like a big whoopee cushion or a balloon.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, we lost our family milk cow. Now, Daisy was half Jersey, half Holstein, and she would...
When we were milking her, we were getting...
about 5 gallons a day.
Yeah. About 2.5 each time we'd milk, so about 5 gallons a day.
Yeah.
And now this last calf we did not milk because we left the calves with them a little too long. We had a lot of other stuff going on, and so trying to separate them and move them was a difficult thing to do, and we just never got around to doing it. So we were like, it's fine, we'll just wait until this spring. And so, we were pretty sure she was bred.
Yeah, we were looking for a calf come
April,
May.
Mm-hmm. April, because we had introduced them back in July. So it was all of July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So we were expecting her to calf again in April like she did last year. And that's not going to happen.
Yeah. And so it was very rough. I mean, Daisy's been with us for 10 years?
10 years.
10 years? And
at least, yeah. She's been with us 10. We think she was probably 11 or so. So the other problem is that, she was getting older as a family cow. So it was... And what's ironic is the week before, I had literally just said to you, that's what's strange, is like, you don't really realize how much you are in tune with what's going on in your homestead until you start like, and I don't want to say predicting, but you kind of know the rhythm of things that I was like, Jason, we really need to start talking about another meat cow. And you're like, no. Because see, the thing is, when you've been doing this as long as we have, you kind of lose time of like, how long you've had things, like I think back to like Han and Leia, and I'm like, oh, they're only a couple years old. But then I was going back and looking at pictures, and I'm like, wait a minute, we had our litter the first time we went to the Homesteading Life Conference, and that was like
a year ago,
right? So we've had them for like 2 years, and I was like, gosh, I thought they were younger than that, Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times you don't really think about how old an animal is. You just get comfortable and you get used to it. And then when we started thinking about it, we were like, wait a minute. Daisy's like
Yeah, Daisy was probably close to 15 years old.
She's much older. Because that was the thing. Carol and I were trying to figure it out in the car. We know we've had her as long as we've been here. That was 7 years. We know we had her for at least 2 years before we moved. That's 9. When she came to us, she was pregnant.
With her, was it her
With
second?
Her first calf. So you go back 9 months for that.
And
that's almost 10 right there. She had to be at least almost 2 to be bred. So that's at least 12. So that was the thing. We were like, she had to be at least 12. So it really, we were knocking on the door.
But she was a spoiled 12.
Yeah, but
don't let anybody.
Oh no! Look at the pictures. Look at.
I hate that it happened this way. Mm-hmm. Because there's a part of me that kind of feels like, I failed as a homesteader, as being responsible for her care, for her, the whole animal husbandry aspect about it. I just couldn't find her. Because if I could have found her and noticed that she was getting bloaty, I could have brought her up here to the top, and we could have used some essential oils. We could have.
But see, so that you're still thinking that that's what it was that killed her. We don't know that for certain, honestly.
Okay, you didn't see her. I'm telling you, it was bloat.
So, anyway, we can all kind of go back and forth about what we could have or couldn't have done. I think what you're saying is we didn't try anything because we didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we couldn't find her. And if we would have been able to find her, I would feel better if I'd have been able to find her, so that way I could at least have said I tried to do my best to either A, make her comfortable, or B, just completely fix the problem. And
I almost feel like, how they say sometimes that animals will, just leave and run off when they know that they're about to die. And I almost feel like that's what we were dealing with. I feel like she kind of knew it was coming, and she wanted to be alone. And so whenever you would come close, she would just move.
I don't know.
So, it's a hard loss for us because now we have to, decide where we're going next. And, Jason and I have been talking back and forth about this, and we had different opinions on, because the first thing Jason said to me is he said, this is going to cost us like $5,000. And I was like, $5,000? Are you smoking crack? Like, no, it's not going to cost us $5,000. But then we got to talking because in my brain, I'm thinking, we have bulls on property. The biggest problem we used to always have with a cow getting pregnant was we used to have to buy one that was already knocked up, right? Because we didn't have a bull. So my thought was, you know what? This isn't a big deal. We have 2 bulls.
Let me interrupt you for a second. Christy Belts wants to know what's the average life expectancy for a milk cow. That varies, and this is the reason why it varies. Now, for us, a family milk cow or a cow on a homestead, it doesn't really matter the breed, but a family type milk cow can be good for up to 20 years, sometimes even longer. It really depends on how hard you push her. Your commercial cows that are in dairies,
like what, 5, 6 years?
2-3 years, and they're looking to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And that's because they're harder on them. Mm-hmm. Same way with it's like your chickens in your commercial egg houses. They are pushing those because when a chicken is born, she's got all the eggs that she's going to have already inside her. And so on a homestead, you kind of let the sun tell your chickens when to lay and just let everything kind of happen naturally. Well, at the commercial egg production place, they got lights on them and all this stuff to making these birds just lay until they don't lay anymore, and whoosh, they're gone. And it's the same way with a family milk cow. or with cows in general. If, like, when I ran the dairy, if that cow wasn't producing X amount of milk, then it was gone. And it would he would either try to sell it to somebody that could do a family milk cow, or it would go to the butcher. But most of the times, because they're pushing those cows so hard for so long, as soon as they drop the calf, they wait like 3 or 4 days, a week, and then they're trying to get it AI'd again. Where how we did it on the homestead, we kept her with the calf for about 7 days to make sure the calf got all of its colostrum and a good amount of milk from mom, and then we would pull it. We would milk mom, because that's right about the peak of the freshening stage. We may miss it a little bit, but again, the freshening stage to us really didn't matter to us, because whatever milk that we couldn't use, it was just going for feed anyway. Because Georgia's just a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on their rules about the sale of raw milk. Unlike up in Pennsylvania, where it's really nice to be to be able to sell raw milk. And so once we did that, we'd keep her away from the bull for 1 or 2 cycles.
Like 2 cycles, yeah.
To let her body rest, heal, and then we would milk her. Because the gestation period is about 9 months, 10 months. So it come month like 7, we would start the process of drying her up, let her get dry, and then let her body recuperate for the last 2 months, so that way it can produce colostrum and stuff, so that way the next calf can come out and have that and do it all over again.
That's why, like, if you ever see, I remember a video that VW family, they felt bad because they had a cow that they were milking and they didn't realize that she was pregnant. And then she dropped a calf and they felt bad. And I don't think they really covered it. Why they felt bad was because usually you give a cow a couple of months to recuperate. And the reason why you wait 3 cycles or 2 cycles and then do it on the 3rd is so that you're having a calf at the same time every year. Mm-hmm. So it's a full cycle. You got 9 months and you got 3 months, and then you got 9 months and you got 3, So then that way, every year, you're going to have the calf around the same time.
Yeah. And so now we're in the process of trying to shop for this cow. And I told Robin, I said, look, don't be surprised we got to drop like $5,000. And she's like, you're smoking crack. And I'm like, baby, when we bought cheddar, mm-hmm. Cheddar cost us almost $1,200.
And that was almost 15 years ago.
Yeah. A long time ago. And she was Holstein with a calf. Mm-hmm.
$1,200.
That was $1,200.
Yep.
There was no COVID craziness going on at that time either.
Nope.
There was no big homesteading movement at that time either. A lot of people were just starting to dip their toes in it. Mm-hmm. And I said, so now, this basic economics, supply and demand, the demand's probably going to be a lot higher than what it was, so people are going to charge more. I said, you've also got the Captain Trips, or whatever you want to call it to get around YouTube, going on. Mm-hmm. So that's going to jack the prices up on people.
Right.
And I said, but also you just got regular old-fashioned inflation. I said, so we gotta... She's like... And then she was like, I would never pay that much for a heifer. I said, well, neither would I. We're not getting a heifer. We have to get a cow that's in milk with a calf.
And I'm like, why? We don't need that anymore. Like, why are you worried about that? Because my brain was thinking, we have to have one who's had a baby so that we can milk it, because we don't have any way of getting her pregnant. Well, we do now. And so that was where I was going with it. And this is why it's always nice to have 2 people doing this stuff together. It's always better when both spouses are doing that. So
my thought process is, and a lot of this comes just from managing that dairy for the little bit of time that I done, and I got to see a little bit behind the curtain with people who flip cows and all that kind of stuff. One, I want to make sure that this cow, just because we have one that we birthed here on ours, that for some reason she's infertile. I have no idea why, but she will not get pregnant. She's fixing to go in the freezer and become burger.
No, she's been back there with 2 males. She's been exposed to them for over a year. She just won't get pregnant. So, one, I need to make sure that this cow can get pregnant. Mm-hmm. 2, I need to make sure that has the wide enough hips and the birth canal and everything like that to deliver a calf without any major issues. And then 3, the most important one, I want to see her milk out of each tit. I want to be the one that goes under there and pulls on them, because I'm going to be looking to see what the flow is like, to make sure it's not a dead teat or a dying teat. And I'm also going to be looking for mastitis. If they have any one of those, I'm not buying that cow. Because that cow then, if it's got a dead teat or a dying teat or it has mastitis, if it's got mastitis, then you got to treat it. Then you can't use that milk for a while.
For however long it says what you treat it with. And then all that milk is then feed. And so I have to make sure that none of that happens. And if they get mastitis, it's very easy for them to get it again and again and again and again and again, to where it just becomes a huge headache. So, and I also want to look at the overall health of the cow. I want to look at her teeth. I want to pull her eyelids down and make sure that they're pink. I want to pull her gum up. I want to make sure that that's pink. And there's just a lot of things with it that I want to go put my hands on the cow. But the major thing is I want to see what kind of milker she's going to be. I want to make sure all 4 teats are good and healthy. And I want to make sure that she's calm. I'm too old, too fat, too out of shape to happen to break a cow in a milking stall. I really don't feel like having to what's the word when I tie her back feet up?
Hobble. Yeah,
hobble,
we don't want to have to hobble
her. I want to make sure she's good in a head gate.
Well, and the other thing too is we built our milking stanchion, but it is not permanent. So if you get a milk cow in there that is not wanting to be milked, you're going to have a hell of a time with that stanchion.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing.
I want to be able to go up to her while somebody's milking her, rub my hands all over her back, put it down on her bag, move around all of her bags. I want to look at her feet also. Because sometimes folks don't, in the dairy industry, they don't really pay that much attention to their feet. And if she's coming from, if she's being sold from a dairy because she's not producing enough for them, you have to look at the feet. And the reason being is because in your commercial dairies, some of them, not all of them, but some of them, the cows don't live in the absolute best conditions. Okay, there's a lot of mud, a lot of muck. And they can get, I forget exactly what it's called, but there's a name to it. But basically, it's kind of like a severe case of athlete's foot.
Isn't it like hoof rot or something like that?
And the hoof, just like how on sheep and goats, it can rot off, and then there's a nub, and that's no bueno. But also, it can just really be causing a lot of pain. And unfortunately, the medicine that you give for that can also make you have to dump.
The draw. There's a draw. So that was something we were talking about also. There is, I think it's a worming medicine now for cattle that there is no draw time on the milk.
Trust it.
I know. But I thought that was interesting. I was like, So I got the name of it to kind of look it up and kind of see what the studies have been on it. But even if it's not, because some of them the draw's like 30 days.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. Like if you have a milk cow or you've ever been around where you relied on a milk cow, 30 days is a lot of milk. A lot of time. So
yeah, and so there's a lot of things that you can learn from that cow when you go, especially if she's going to be your main milk cow. There's a lot of things that if you're planning. Look, let me rephrase.
I gotta look at that.
What?
Whether it's pig.
No, that's exactly. Scoot over. This is my warm spot. No, you scoot over. This is my warm spot. Well, no, I'm the big pig. No, I'm a big pig. And they're just pushing back and forth.
I mean, they are raising Cain.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you figure it's Han and then a whole bunch of girls.
That's true.
You know, and so all the girls want to rub up. We're talking about our pigs in the big pig pen.
I guess y'all can't hear that, but we can hear it.
Yeah. And every night when they get ready to bed down, there's a big fight because Han is probably about 800 pounds. He's a big boy, and so he'll go ahead and get settled down. And because pigs can't really regulate their body temperature, they all want to huddle up against each other to stay warm through the night.
That's why you'll lose piglets. If you have piglets during the winter time, there's a good possibility you could lose some piglets if you don't provide somewhere for them to stay warm because they will huddle on top of each other.
Yeah. And so they'll get in there and then it's just a little bit of an argument on who's
There's a lot of fussing going on right now.
You laid there yesterday, it's my turn. Well, I'm laying here today there, Delma. And it's just...
Yeah, they get to going back and forth.
For about 30 minutes.
It's just really loud.
Yeah. But when you're looking for your very first dairy cow, and I'm pretty sure this probably goes the same with goats or sheep, you want that animal to be in milk and being milked when you go to purchase her. So that way you can see, because there's a lot of people out there that will, just like with cars and everything else, unfortunately, you know, the loss of integrity has not bypassed the homesteading world.
No.
There's lots of people out there that will sell you stuff knowing that it's not what they say. For example, we had a beautiful, awesome family come by earlier today, and they purchased 2 piglets from Leia's group with us, and they had happened to them what happened to us. When we were green into this, we got taken advantage of, and somebody sold us some Russian boar pigs because we didn't know any better.
Told us they were like Berkshires or something.
And that's what happened to them. So they found us, I guess, through Instagram. And we sold them 2 pigs, and I can't wait to see how they do. They bought 2 girls. I think they got a boar lined up from somebody else.
I don't know.
And I can't wait to see how that
Well, we know that breeding line produces very good.
Yeah.
I mean, we know they produce very good pork, and so, you know, they're Berkshire, Hampshire crosses, and so they're a really good even meat, and they're docile. I mean, even while we were in there, we thought we might have to, you know, get a little, you know, we were trying to distract Leia, but we really didn't need to. She seemed to be okay with Carol. Like, she was like, okay, I'm just gonna go back to eating. You can have one of these piglets. Like, you know, where when we had the ones before,
Pelosi and Clinton?
Yeah,
they would get
they got very territorial. So
Mary S., so glad to see you back.
Wow, it's been a while.
Thanks for coming tonight.
With the cow you have that won't get pregnant, is there something you can do to help with her cycle?
Unfortunately, no.
How do we find out if she's infertile?
Well, I think when she was very young, she got the warts.
She had some kind of bacterial or fungal infection in her ear.
And so we treated it, and it went away. But I'm afraid that because when we read up on it, there was a thing that it could cause the cow to go infertile.
But we never had her exposed to a bull, so we didn't know.
Yeah, so...
But now we have two of them.
Now we have two of them, and
there's no reason.
So, good old Ethan in the house, 180 degrees from average. So I changed my notification tone on my phone. On my phone, Ethan.
It was very irritating because it was the same notifications for my work phone, and so he kept getting these notifications, and I kept running looking for my work phone, and then I realized he changed it.
Well, it was a machine gun. So now it's a bell. And it goes ding. And so when it went off, Robin told me right before the show, she said, you know what
that makes me think of, right?
That makes me think of Ethan. Ethan with his bell. Ding. So just wanted to share that with you. I think we missed a question up here.
How can you find out she's infertile? Kathleen, if she's bred and she has a calf, then she's not infertile. The problem is that we're pretty sure that she would have been bred by now, and
we know that she has somewhat of a cycle because I've watched both Freckles and Ferdinand smell around that area and even try to mount.
Oh, really?
Now,
see, I've never seen that.
Now, I could be wrong that she was producing those things because it could have been Calf Power Daisy that was producing them, and those two guys were just trying to hit anything that moved. Mm-hmm. That's why I think all the other young steers kept far away. So it could have been that. But she's been back there with two bulls that are of breeding age for over a year.
Because we got Freckles. Well, we got Freckles April last year.
April before last.
Right. So in this April, it'll be 2 years.
2 years.
And no calf from her.
No calf from her. We got a calf from Calf Bow and a calf from Daisy.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, I honestly thought that it was going to go
her
Daisy give the calf first, and then Delma, then Calf Pow. But it ended up going Calf Pow, then Daisy, and no Delma. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things. So now we are in the market for a new dairy cow, but we don't know what kind we want.
Yeah.
Do we want to go back to the Jersey Holstein, which yes, Mary S, just give me just a second. Do we want to go back with the Jersey Holstein, because the Jersey Holstein is considered one of the top family type milk cows there is, because you get a high production, but you also get high butter fat, which helps you make butter and cheese. So, do we want to do that? I've also, heard and read that the Swiss is good.
I haven't seen any Swiss come through though
lately. I don't know of anybody that has access to any, or anything like that. So we're kind of maybe doing a little bit more research to see if maybe we want to change up and try something different. If not, then we'll go back and find another Jersey Holstein.
Would you guys look into a dual purpose like a Dexter or milking Devon?
Yes.
So, see, here we go. This is not something we've talked about, so you guys are going to get the full on right now.
You're going to get how Big Bear Homestead actually came into being. Because we jumped. I would love to get a dual purpose one like that, as we're supporting our other YouTube creators tonight, Broussard Homestead and Cattywampus Acres.
Who's not here?
I know.
Broussard is, but not. I haven't seen Cattywampus.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here's my thought on this. I don't think that we should do a dual purpose because I've already got dual purpose out there right now. I have a half milk, half meat already out there.
And she ain't going anywhere.
I think... Okay.
You know what?
One of the things about...
You know how we settle this? You know what we're going to do? I'm going to make the decision because I'm the man of the house. And I'm just going to lay down the law right here on YouTube. I think we're just going to go and do Highland cows.
We can't do Highlands.
Yeah, we can.
It's too high.
If she can do it in Lincolnton, which is a little bit warmer than we are.
No. So, my thing about dual purpose anything is that you sacrifice on either end for it being dual purpose. Okay? So, like, perfect example, white leghorn chickens. Okay? They are single purpose. You have them just for eggs. And that's pretty much it. Because even as a stew chicken, not really getting much. So, but that chicken will plop out some eggs like crazy. Right? When you go to a dual purpose, say for instance, a Buff Orpington, you don't get nearly as many eggs. And when you get the meat bird, you're really not getting much. I mean, you're getting more meat than you would, obviously, a leghorn, but you're not getting the meat that you're going to get from a broiler.
Well, no, the meat's going to be a little bit tougher because it's going to be an older bird.
Not just that, you're not getting as much meat. You're not.
Yeah, I disagree.
No.
Yeah, you say no you want to because from a broiler you're getting mostly breasts.
No.
With one of your dual purpose, your Rhode Islands, your Buffs, you're getting a decent leg and a decent thigh. You got a more balanced bird there. Yeah. Yep. Not everybody lets their broilers grow to be almost a year old so that way they can be nothing but tortilla chickens.
If you would let me butcher them right now, they wouldn't get to be a year old by the time we go. I'm going to butcher tomorrow. How about that?
No, you ain't.
How about it?
How about it?
Bet.
Watch. She won't butcher tomorrow.
I'm going to butcher tomorrow.
No, you're not.
Y'all watch on YouTube. I'm going to go live.
Okay.
Go live, butchering chickens in 30-degree weather. Just watch.
And fussing the house. Why won't it bleed out? I'm only out here because I said I was going to do it on the live stream. You tricked me, Jason.
Anyway, all of that to say that I feel like we would do better if we just focus on the cow being... Because here's the other thing, guys. At least with the way we do cows, we don't pour tons of grain to a cow. So when you have... If we had Daisy in a commercial setting, she would have been giving like 8 gallons a day, not 5. Easy. Okay? Mm-hmm. So by not pushing her full of grain, we're not getting what she's capable of. If we then cut that in half, because now we have a dual purpose, now we may only be getting 2 gallons a day. Now I know most people will be like, 2 gallons a day, that's a lot, blah, blah, blah. It is a lot. But we're not looking for it just to be for us. We're looking for it to be able to supplement our feed for piglets and growing pigs for the spring and the summer. So that's the thing.
Somebody said, let me see if I can find it. Somebody challenged us to get both.
We already have both. We have both. I have buffs out there right now, and I have meat broilers out there right now. I'm telling you, I wouldn't do a mini cow either because they'll kill my bulls will kill a mini cow. I have a longhorn who gets bigger every time I go out there and look at him. And I have what are we saying? We don't know what he is at this point.
No, Ferdinand I think is Angus. But Angus
you don't think
I
Angus.
think is a limousine and something else mixed because when we were going out there looking
he's very tall.
I could spot him quick. Because he was like standing over the other cows talking about, you my little friend.
Is Zelma, what type of bird is Zelma? Is she
She's a chicken.
I know what type of chicken is what I mean. See, Robin is right about dual purpose chickens, but we found, okay, so I still disagree a little bit with Delawares.
Here she goes about the air predators.
No, I wasn't even going to go with that because we never had any problem with the Delawares with predators because they are fairly big birds, but they're a lot of feather. There's a lot of feathers on a Delaware. But they do grow, like what Jason was saying, they do grow pretty evenly.
And you want to do me a favor? Why Tommy was taking your side? You pull the Tommy knife out of my back there.
Pull that knife out.
Supposed to be sticking together with the bros.
See, now this is the next part I was going to. Anita and I are on the exact same page. The other thing that I want to make sure of is when you're breeding your cow to your bull, you want to make sure that you don't have too big of a cow or too big of a calf for that cow to
big of a bull.
Push out. So
because it's all in the hips.
So she said she'd go Holstein or Holstein Jersey because of the hips. I agree with that.
I think I would like to go, yeah.
I think even a Swiss, I think Jason's right, a Swiss would be good. I just don't know how practical it is for our area.
Highlands would be
Not
good.
going to the Highland. But like even a Dexter. The Dexters tend to be shorter. And I don't know that that's necessarily a good idea. Yeah, they were at one point they were a meat bird. You're absolutely right. They were.
I mean, how many of y'all think we should get Highlands? Just go ahead and put the big thumbs up in the chat and on the video.
Jason, you need to just shake it off.
I'm shaking it off.
We did used to have, now I will go to the predator part. We used to have Delawares a long, long time ago. And white birds don't do as well here. They don't. The Siskovich tractors have been very good for us because those birds being that bright white color, they are like a big blinking sign for aerial predators around here. Jason can shake his head all he wants, but I'm telling you, there have been times last year when we were running meat birds and we had chicks, and then we would go to count and we wouldn't have as many, and it's because they would get out and they were chicken nuggets. Very simply put.
If they were brown, they would have been chicken nuggets too.
I'm telling you, y'all. White chickens, they don't do too well with us.
You're such a racist.
I'm a racist. I am.
Chickenist.
I'm a racist chickenist. Yes. I'm not even speciesist. What would that be?
Chickenist.
No, it's a variety. What do you call a breed? A breedist, maybe? I don't know. Of course, you should get Highlands, and Jason should wear kilts. Jason has a kilt.
Oh.
And he has the knee socks, too.
Oh.
So, yeah. So that's happening. So that's what we're... Sheila McCrae, that's another name. Welcome back. One of my chickens started laying Monday. 1 egg a day out of the 3. That's not bad. Not bad at all.
A colorist.
Colorist. I don't know. It's just for some reason, in my observation, in my opinion, they don't do as well. I can have buffs or Rhode Island Reds running around here, and they are fine. They don't get picked up by nothing. But a white bird does not last long around here. So
I disagree with that.
And it may not just be aerial. It could just be overall. But overall, if we have any meat birds get out and get loose, they don't last long. Yeah, I had more hawks around when I had white birds. Now, I will tell you, I've been talking with Ginger and Tom over at McMurray Hatchery, and
yes,
we're going to be talking a little bit more about that theory, because Tom and I started talking a little bit about that, because that was one of the first things I said. He's like, well, if you want production, let's do some leghorns. And I'm like, no. I don't want any white birds like that. And he's like, well, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that, and he's going to educate me a little bit more, and hopefully we will
good luck, Tom.
Come up with something. Dee said they're about to order some lavender orpingtons. So I have a quick question for y'all. I noticed this year that there were 2 chicken catalogs, and they both had lavender orpingtons on the cover. Did anybody else get any catalogs that also had a lavender orpington on it? I'm just very curious about that. Because I'm not one to believe in coincidences. And I just thought it was very interesting, intriguing.
Oh boy, now she's going to have a conspiracy theory about hatcheries.
I'm telling you.
It's all the same hatchery.
No, definitely not. Well, what was crazy is I was waiting.
They just have different people running them, that's all.
I was waiting for my McMurray catalog to come in, and this other catalog came in, and I, at first glance, mistook it for the McMurray because it had a lavender orpington on it. And I was like, that's not the right catalog. And I was like, what? So, yeah. Hello, Grandma. So happy.
I like the buff Orpingtons. I also like Delawares.
Golden Polish. You're talking my language there, TJ.
See, someday, TJ, I'm just going to time you out. I swear.
Wow. You haven't gotten any chicken catalogs? That's crazy.
So, it's almost time. Well, it's time to start planting your garden. And for those of us in...
I'm so excited about that.
7 Bravo, 8 Alpha, you can also start some of your brassicas. Your cabbages, your lettuces. Ooh, that was Big Han.
Cabbage, lettuce, broccoli, cauliflower, all of your collards.
He was laying the smack down. Y'all better lay down.
Mm-hmm. Time to go to bed. Yeah. I want Brahmas. Yeah, they're okay. Don't they have feathers on their feet? I have a theory that waterfowl all have the same hatchery. Metzer out of California. That's interesting.
So, because of a certain YouTube channel that Robin is starting to watch, we're probably going to be expanding our waterfowl. So,
yep,
that's probably going to be happening this year.
Thanks, Morgan.
More geese.
No, not geese. Not geese. Not doing geese. I'm doing Pekin ducks.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
That's Morgan's fault.
Our last chicken order we did from a company did not go well. Sent us the wrong breed and didn't have a good policy for the mistake. I much prefer buying in person, but that limits my options. Copper Kettle, we've already talked about this. I guarantee you won't have the same problem with McMurray. Nope. Let's be honest. Chris has probably stole the chicken books out of the mailbox. I was thinking that. I started seeds today for brassicas, started the peppers last week. See, we're not starting peppers right away. I know you're starting them because you're getting ready to sell some, I think is what she said. Hello, Quebec. I'm excited to start planting. So I have something, and I don't know, Jason may cut me off here and tell me that we just need to do a video about this, but stop. GrowVeg.
Yeah, stop. Stop. We just learned that today. Stop. Just stop until we learn a little bit more.
No, I've learned a
stop.
lot.
Stop.
We'll
Stop.
definitely be
Stop.
planting our garden this year using GrowVeg. That's all I'm going to say right now. Indian. I don't want to do Indian runners. I don't want to do Indian runners. I really do want to. Hey Tim, what's up? I do want to get some more quail.
I want to get some pheasants. I want to do some pheasants this year.
Yeah. We're back to the peppers. We were talking about this. One of the things that I found last year is that when I put my seeds in my seed starting room, we had the room at like 90 degrees because we had to keep chicks in there. And what happened is
it was like a jungle.
We created this like microclimate in that room. And so my tomato plants that normally take like 7 to 10 days to germinate were taking like 2 days to germinate. They're like boop, right about the ground. So I decided, let's be honest, that I won't start.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't. She's like, I decided. Okay, decide that. Bam. Highlands, I decided.
Good luck.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not taking care of them, so that's fine. You do
don't
whatever
anyway.
you want. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead, keep it up.
Bam, Highlands. Ugh.
When we're sitting here in 9 months and he's like, I feel so bad because I didn't do what I was supposed to do for my animals.
Okay, you got jokes. No, don't touch me. Don't touch me. No, don't touch. Don't touch me.
Anyway, so what I was saying is that I think we're going to...
No, we're not.
Because of how long our growing season is anyway...
Nope.
I'm going to start tomato seeds at the beginning of March.
I distinctly remember in somebody's video when they interviewed us that you said that you were not going to do a lot of tomatoes.
I'm not. But what I'm saying is the ones that I will do, I'm going to start those in March. There's a lot of people, and then peppers you usually do like a week or two before that. So for me, I'm looking at mid-February before I do my mine.
Becoming a farm girl. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for coming tonight.
I'm in a townhouse and plan to get some this spring. Do you think 10 would be too many to keep indoors in the basement?
In 7 days. No. Well, now here's the thing. Quail, if you get the Japanese Coturnix quails, they're what, 8 weeks from?
Yes, 8 weeks from egg to plate.
Mm-hmm. So as long as you butcher them on time, and unless you're going to start to even breed them, so you may keep them a little bit longer. As long as you keep it all clean so the stink doesn't happen, I think you'd be fine starting off with 10.
They are messy.
But they are extremely messy
eaters. So you're going to make sure you have something underneath it to catch all that mess.
Now, one of the things that you can do is when you build your quail cage, you can, if you use the regular welded wire, you can cut one of the strands out in the middle, put your feed trough on the outside where they can just stick one head in there and then peck and feed that way then they can also get in there and kind of scratch it and pull it out or anything like that. If you make it to where they have to stick their head in there, that will help out a little bit with the mess. Stick with the crumbles. Don't go to the pellets because they waste more with the pellets than they do with the crumble. And then I would get a watering system to where you can have that on one of the sides, and then hang a 5-gallon bucket from the top and let it gravity feed down. So then that way, once a week, you'd only have to go in there and top off that 5-gallon bucket. Because that's one of the things that when we were in our old place in Grovetown, we had them in our old rabbit hutch, and that's how we had them fed. And then we had the trough going across the back with the water. Now, what we did was we just cut a 2-inch PVC pipe.
Gutter.
What was it, gutter? Yeah, right. It was a gutter.
It was a gutter, and we just bought gutter caps to put on either side of it. And then we had PVC that came down, and it had a valve, and we would just turn it on and fill up the trough, and then they were able to put their head through and drink the water. Yeah. It was really effective for us. We also had those little cages that stick on the outside of the cage. I mean, the feeding things that almost like what a rabbit, right? They had like almost like how rabbits are set up. And so then that feed was right there, and they could just stick. But it's still there. Crumbles are going to be messy anyway. Anytime you have something that you're feeding, in a cage where you've got stuff that's able to fall through. I mean, it's just begging for it to be messy anyway. So.
Now, also with your cage design, do not go any deeper than your arm. However, that or you're going to have to go buy a snake stick so that way you can reach in.
They are very elusive. They don't necessarily like to be, they will definitely try to get away from you, at least at first,
Well, I was just talking more about for the eggs, because they will know where the farthest part is, where you have the hardest part reaching, and they will lay their eggs over there.
Well, yeah, that too, but if you're just doing them just to eat, then, doing that, trying to catch them, they're very quick. So
you have to turn your hand into like a cobra, and you just got to sit there in the door and then walk.
Yeah. So that's another thing to consider. So.
But quail are fun.
And they're delicious.
Delicious quail.
Super delicious. So. Yeah. So there's that.
So that's what we've been doing. We're going to try to get some more videos out this week. Now that the whole chasing cow dilemma is over, and we're going to be doing some filming tomorrow. We're going to try and put a video out tomorrow, and it's going pretty much. We're going to open up the thing for memberships, and it's going to be the membership video. So y'all please be looking for that, and if you feel led to become a Big Bear member, then by all means we will appreciate it and welcome you in with open arms. Michelle S asked, I think somebody asked about the puppy. Mary S.
Mary S.
Mary S asked about the puppy. We are still up in the world of limbo about the puppy. The next round is supposed to be born in 9 days.
So the ones that was the search and rescue dog, it was her very first time, and apparently it didn't take. So it is what it is. If you've ever had to buy from a breeder before, you know that sometimes you're on a waiting list and you're basically waiting for the litter to come, and so that's kind of where we're at right now. So
very, very frustrating. The update, the truck is fixed.
Yes.
Up and running.
Yes.
We got it with the first try. It was very nice. Carol, I hope, learned a lot. And I don't understand why they do. I mean, I do
kind of. Night, Anna.
Kind of understand why they do what they do when it comes to cars anymore. But we had to order a tool. We got the tool. Works like a boss. It's just awesome. Awesome tool. And to remove the fan clutch and everything. And then the water pump went on with ease. Thermostat went in with ease. And then it all went back together with ease. And so now the truck is up and running good. We were able to go get feed, filled up all the feed from the feed store, and even went again today because we started giving the cows a little extra feed because of how cold it's been getting. And so that's now off the plate, and I have a portion of my shop back. There's not a car in there.
So,
but Gizmo is mad
because when we had the truck in there, at first we were just leaving Gizmo out at night because it wasn't so cold. But then when it started getting a little bit cooler, we decided we'd bring him in, inside the shop because he has a nice little cozy bed.
Well, it wasn't because it was cooler. It was because
rain. I'm sorry.
No,
rain.
It was because somebody started taking stuff.
Oh well, yeah, there was that too.
We had a bunch of not a bunch, but enough of our beef come up missing, and so we had to move the freezers and stuff inside the house, and then we decided just to put Gizmo in there, just to ruin somebody's night. Cecilia Jansen wants to know, Jason, would you grow your own feed for the animals? That is on the agenda for this year. We are going to move the red barn to behind or to the other side of the shop, in the area that the red barn is in, which is pretty much directly straight in front of us right here. We are going to turn into another no-till garden, but in that garden, the only thing that we're going to be growing is fodder. So it'll be like the different fodder: carrots, fodder beets, some corn, all those different kinds of things that we'd end up mixing together. Probably some beans, some legumes, stuff like that we're going to be mixing together for our own feed. Plus, we're also going to be doing a fodder system for next year too.
So Feather and Downs wants to know, where did we get our logo for our channel done? It's an awesome looking logo. I got to get one for our channel, so I'm looking for advice. So for us, we've had that logo for over 10 years. Yes. We used to have friends that worked in a marketing firm. And so they worked on it for us. It was a barter situation, and they did that for us. However, we actually have somebody here in the chat that does a lot of that. Does a lot of marketing and social media, networking, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Crystal, if you would put your information up there, Feather and Down, definitely check her out. She's wonderful, very good at what she does, extensive resume, and does a really good job. So I would definitely check her out.
She can also host your website. She is going to be hosting the Big Bear website here probably
very soon.
Very, very soon.
Yeah, we actually need to get
probably
in touch with you here pretty soon.
Yeah. And so definitely, Crystal at Copper Kettle Farms, go on over there and talk to her, and she can hook you up with that. She's very, like Robin said, very, very talented.
Mm-hmm. It ain't me. He's so funny sometimes. He cracks me up.
Yeah. I learned that he, now the Alderman Farms just put out they did a premiere video about sustainable water. Mm-hmm. Y'all need to go check it out because some of the stuff that's in there, it's all just super great information. But they have something in there that I'm going to make you go watch, and we're going to talk about something that they did to their well.
Okay.
Because just like us, when the power goes out, we're the lowest people on the totem pole when it comes back getting the power turned back on. Because we're so far out in the country. And it's just the plain troubleshooting aspect of it that the power company, they start to fix the problems and then continue to go in, and hopefully that by the time they fix the last problem, it fixes the rest of the network. Plus, that's also how electricity works.
Okay.
So. All right, guys, we've been on here for a little over an hour. Robin and I really, really appreciate it. If you are on our email list, be looking out for that. We're going to give it a go one more time because we only had like 2 or 3 people on the email list. Make sure you check your spam folder. We are doing a giveaway of the 500 and some odd page seed catalog from Baker Creek. And so that we will be giving away next Saturday. So if it's only going to come down to these 3, then it'll come down to these 3. Would you go solar, Jason? Yes, I will eventually. I would love to be able to get some solar out here someday. Yeah. Just like I would love to be able to see if I have a natural gas well that I could drill into, but I'm a little afraid that may be a little bit expensive
to find out
and get that drilled into. So we thank you guys for coming in and hanging out with us tonight, and like Robin and I always say, plant smiles,
grow giggles,
and harvest the love, baby. Yeah.
I didn't get an email. What's up with that? You're not on the email list there, buddy.
Yeah. If you want to be on the email list, send us an email at bigbearfarms@hotmail.com and just put in there, please add us to the email list, and we will get you on that list. And if you want to be entered in that contest, put that in there, and we will give you the instructions as well. And so then that way you can come back and do that before next week. That's bigbearfarms@hotmail.com, email list, and then directions for the contest.
Yep.
All right, y'all be kind to one another. Love on one another. Recycle, reuse, repurpose. And we will see you guys next time. God bless.
Good night, y'all.